Welcome to the real life show, Living with a Chronic Illness. We are your hosts, Cassie and Chelsea. I'm Cassie, a single mom living with a chronic illness who is extremely passionate about living a full and happy life.
And I'm Chelsea, a mindset coach that has a passion for helping people learn to put themselves first and be the best version of themselves each and every day.
We came together to create Spoonies Unite, an uplifting community that offers resources, guidance, and support so you can live your best life while giving you the space to be yourself, be heard, and feel understood. We hope that by providing education from experts, we help Spoonies and their loved ones thrive.
This show is not only for those who live with a chronic illness, but their friends, family, spouses, and just anyone else existing on the earth. Our goal is to normalizing having a chronic illness by sharing the real stories with real people and show the world how relatable those everyday struggles can be. There's a little something in here for everyone.
And of course, thank you to our patrons for your continued support making this possible. If you love our show and want to get some extra goodies, go to patreon.com/TheRealSpooniesUnite. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the real life show, Living with a Chronic Illness. Cassie and I are trying out something new today. We both are avid readers. Reading is probably a big part of self-care for both of us, and it's just a way that we love getting information. And so we thought that it could be kind of fun to do bonus episodes every once in a while, in addition to our normally weekly Wednesday episodes, talking about some of the books that are making big impacts on our life. And so the one we're starting with is The Lady's Handbook to Her Mysterious Illness by Sarah Ramey. We were lucky enough to be able to interview Sarah on the podcast. We both read her book, and we are obsessed with this book, like super obsessed. We can't stop talking about it. You may have heard us mention it on the podcast once or twice or 10 million times because we're that obsessed with it. Mm-hmm. So Cassie, will you kind of go over and talk about what your thoughts on this amazing book are?
Yes. Okay. So Chelsea's totally right. We're completely obsessed with it. It's like the best book ever. And by saying it's the best book ever, it's one of the most important books that I have read in a long time. I think that with us being like obsessed with it and loving it so much, it's because of the importance and the fact that there's nothing out there like it that makes it so great, or part of what makes it so great. Clearly what makes it so great is Sarah Ramey herself, the author, who is amazing. Anyways, so this book is essentially a memoir of Sarah's journey with her chronic illness. But amidst her journey and her memoir, she offers an insane amount of factual research evidence about the body, the healthcare system, medicine, views on treatments, all sorts of stuff. So it's just so important in that sense. We, Chelsea and I, both believe that everyone should read this book, particularly any kind of medical professionals in any sense of the word, meaning surgeon to nurse practitioners to massage therapists to yoga instructors. Like, if you are in the business of helping people, you should read this book. And I was able to relate to it on a very personal level in the sense of having been dismissed by doctors myself, being seen by family members or coworkers for not believing me in my health, in my illness, or not understanding my story. So I have definitely understood on a personal level. I connected with Sarah's book, and then there was moments of just sheer cringing reading her book that was her reality, and seeing how far she's come and the strength that she has obviously built within herself and the resiliency keeping on going. And now she's taking all of her experiences and trying to help the rest of us women with mysterious illnesses, we are known as WOMIs in her book, to try and help us and support us and hopefully change the world. And Chelsea and I totally feel like this book could change the world. So if you are looking for a way to feel validated, if you're looking for connection and to know that there are other people in the world who have experienced a journey like yours, if you are one living with a chronic illness, I really highly encourage you to read Sarah's book. And if you're someone who would just like to understand a little bit more, perhaps you haven't experienced it yourself, I encourage you to read this book. And again, like I said, if you're a medical professional in any sense of the word, I encourage you to read this book. Sarah is incredibly intelligent. The way that she presents all of these various concepts to you are at a level that anyone can understand, which is so great and really nice too, when there's a lot of books out there with like so much science that it might be easy to get lost in it. Sarah puts it in a way that we can all understand the message that she's trying to bring across and the connections of research and all the stuff. So I freaking loved it. I read it really fast. It was such an easy read because she's a wonderful writer. It was a difficult reading as far as like it hurts at times. But yeah, so I think everyone should read it. I want to send it to like all sorts of family members and friends and doctors. And I'm just so thankful that we get to interview her ourselves. Chelsea, what did you think about the book, especially from the perspective of someone who does not have a mysterious illness?
Well, I love this book. I think for me, this book is the summary of why I do what I do for my career. And as someone who doesn't have a chronic illness, it really helped open my eyes to the experiences that you can go through. And I want to think that Sarah's case is a extreme end of the spectrum case where like she was truly not listened to. Like most people don't have the roller coaster ride that she does, but in all honesty, there's probably a lot more people out there that are experiencing that level of the roller coaster than the not so crazy roller coaster. And so I know it really gave me so much information and allowed me to kind of step into her shoes a lot more. Cassie and I had multiple conversations as I was reading it, she was a little bit ahead of me the entire time. So as I would read something, I would text her and be like, oh my God, there's this part. And it helped me kind of talk with Cassie of like, well, what can I do with someone doesn't have a chronic illness? How can I support you better? Like, what has been your experience on this? And so it allowed to kind of open some of the lines of communication, ones that we already have quite a lot between the two of us, but it helped open those doors even more. So I think it's just really, really great to allow individuals that haven't been in those shoes to get a taste of the crazy shit that you can go through. There was multiple times reading her book that I was like, oh, okay, she's getting an answer. Oh, holy fuck, something went bad again. And it was just nothing that she was doing wrong. It was just like what was happening in her body physiologically, various terrible things happening with the healthcare field. It was enlightening for me to be able to see that and see that story. I also think that she does a really, really good job. Sarah does an amazing job using solid research. And so me having my master's in exercise science, I do have a science background, and not that you always need hard data to prove anything, because I don't think you do. Anecdotal things go really, really far in my opinion, but she obviously took the time to dig really, really deep into some research that isn't very prevalent, especially wasn't prevalent when she first started this project many, many years ago. And she did a lot of work on connecting the dots herself. And I know for me, as I was reading this book, Cassie and I were in the process of deciding if we wanted to start our nonprofit and then making that decision to go for it and start our nonprofit. And for me, this book was kind of the reminder and the motivation behind this is why what we're doing is important, because it can help a lot of people that are living like this. And on the flip side of that, when I'm not working with Cassie on our nonprofit, I have my own self-care company. And there's so many things that Sarah talks about in the book, that these mysterious illnesses, part of the puzzle pieces that build it up to being so terrible, and this thing that's happening in your body where your body's not working the way it's supposed to anymore. I mean, it's no one's fault that it gets there, but a lot of it is the root of living this kind of American lifestyle where we don't take care of ourselves. Our stress levels are incredibly, incredibly high. We don't rest. We don't relax. We eat crappy foods most of the time. And if we exercise, which so many don't, if we are, it's at this high intensity level that's just causing more stress. And basically how all that put together with a few other things is just like the perfect recipe for these terrible things happening in your body that lead to terrible, terrible situations that are just not fun at all. And this book is just kind of the accumulation of like, this is why I do what I do. This is why it's so important. And I just find it so inspiring. I want everyone to read it too.
Can I chime in there too, Chelsea? This book is totally why I want to do what I do with you with this podcast and with our group and with our nonprofit that is hopefully up and running actually by the time that this episode airs. This is like why we want to do, why we are doing what we're doing is to help all of you out there.
Mm-hmm. And just this, I mean, it's just a beautiful book. As Cassie mentioned, there are some parts of Sarah's story that are cringy, they are hard to read. And I think that Sarah does an amazing job sharing her story and all the cringiness that comes with it at sometimes without making it a completely negative experience. She does a really good job of not shying away from the darkness and the shitty things that have happened in her life, but also being able to be like, but that was the darkness is part of me. There's also other parts too. And it's being able to look at both sides and honor all of those things that have happened. But yeah, so you just all need to go read it.
Yeah, we're major fangirls over here. So clearly, like, if you like our show, you're going to like this book. Mm-hmm. And pretty much. And she has amazing music. Also, you can find her I listen to her on Spotify, Wolf Larson. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's got wonderful music. And so, I actually found like a Wolf Larson radio on Spotify station that I listened to a lot when I was reading it, just because like, not to be like obsessed, but to be like, it was the great kind of like tune of, and the tone of the book and the music. And I found several other artists on that radio that I really liked too. So you can enjoy her through your ears as well as through your eyes.
And I also kind of want to add, I really appreciated Sarah's book because I am a nerd. I love me some Harry Potter. I love me some fantasy stories. And Sarah makes so many references to different fantasy stories. Like there's Harry Potter references multiple times in the book and just made me happy. And so while there's a lot of like, there's some science in it, there's a lot of just hard stuff from her story. There's also this like lightness and fun and realness of her showing like the other parts of her through her writing and by making some fun references to pop culture. So that kind of makes it just a little bit extra special to me.
Basically, it's just fucking awesome and you need to read it.
Yes.
So go and read it right now. And if you haven't listened to the episode or whatever, we're doing a giveaway for her book. We're giving away her book. And so go over to our Instagram for all of the details. The giveaway is going to be between July 15th and August 1st. We will choose our winner. So that's just over 2 weeks. Again, July 15th, 2020 to August 1st, 2020. Head over to our Instagram at The Real Spoonies Unite for all the details.
Yep. Go read her book. Just go do it.
Yay.
You'll thank us.
Yeah, you will thank us. Ooh, and tag us in it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And if you kind of like this concept of us reading books and kind of giving our thoughts on them, let us know. Or maybe there's something else you want us to review. I mean,
oh yeah, movies. I'm a huge movie buff.
I love movies. I love TV shows.
Me too.
So if there's stuff that you're like,
stuff. Let's review stuff.
Yeah. If there's
so if you like us reviewing stuff, tell us what you want us to review. We'll do it.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for listening. It's been so fun being in your ears again, and we will see you all soon.
Yeah, or talk to you soon, maybe.
We will talk to you soon.
Bye. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please write us a review to help us reach more people like you.
If you'd like to connect with Cassie and I, you can find us on Instagram at The Real Spoonies Unite. You can also join our private Facebook community, Spoonies Unite, or you can visit our website, therealspooniesunite.com, for all sorts of resources and to stay up to date with our current projects. And don't worry, you can find all of these links in the show notes below.
Thank you to our wonderful Spoonie patrons for all your support, and you can become one too. That's right. All you have to do is go on over to patreon.com/TheRealSpooniesUnite, and you can get all sorts of extra goodies like videos of our episodes and more.
Any support is greatly appreciated. It helps enable us to create more content for all of you, as well as make this podcast sound better and better. Thanks for listening. We can't wait to be back in your ears soon.